going on, everyone, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video we have something super special. We have the PowerA Fusion Pro 1 up against the PowerA Fusion Pro 2, and in this video we're going to be talking about which of these two controllers should you buy for your Xbox game console. And I say that because both of these controllers are compatible with either the Xbox One series of consoles or the new Xbox series of consoles. Kind of a dumb name, but I digress. Let's go ahead and start talking about the controllers. But before we do, let's go ahead and hear a quick word from our sponsor of today's video. This video is sponsored by Best Buy and the GeoBook 120. The GeoBook 120 is a laptop available both in-store and online from Best Buy, featuring both dual-core and quad-core processor options from Intel that is compact in size and extremely lightweight. With 64 gigabytes of expandable storage, a 12.5-inch HD screen that works perfectly for productivity and gaming, a very enjoyable keyboard to use, a ton of ports, and a built-in HD webcam and microphone that is perfect for the back-to-school season. The GeoBook is available in a few different colors like blue, pink, purple, and the Minecraft Green Edition, which I opted for, that also includes a free copy of Minecraft with the purchase of the GeoBook. So when you aren't doing schoolwork or research, you can take a moment to kick back and relax and fly around in creative mode using the Intel HD graphics built into the Celeron processor. With Windows 10, you can use it in the S mode for increased security or switch over to the full-blown Windows 10 Home to install any applications that you need to get your work done quickly and efficiently. The GeoBook 120 includes a 12-month subscription to Microsoft 365 valued at $69 that gives you access to the suite of Office apps and OneDrive cloud storage. Best Buy offers you a place to shop safely and get your product activated, and if you need additional help setting up your new laptop, Geek Squad also offers virtual setups over the phone as well as other tech-related support services that may be of use to you and your family. The GeoBook 120 is great for some light multitasking, Zoom calls with classmates or friends, doing research and typing papers, and even playing some games and watching YouTube videos like this one. It starts at only $239 and is available both online and with curbside pickup at your local Best Buy, so be sure to check it out for yourself in the first link in the description below. And thank you to Best Buy for sponsoring this video. So getting into the differences between the Fusion Pro 1 and the Fusion Pro 2, the Fusion Pro 1 uses micro USB, the Fusion Pro 2 uses USB Type-C. Both of these controllers are wired as well, so you do not have a wireless option. Pretty much the only wireless Pro controller that you can get directly from Microsoft is going to be the Elite Series 2. And if you want to spend even more money and get something really custom, you can get something like a Hex Blade, or you can get a SCUF controller that'll probably break extremely soon. But I digress. Getting back to the Fusion Pro controllers, the other difference that you have up front is that you now have the share button, which is a new feature on all of the Xbox consoles. Doesn't matter if you have a new Xbox or an old Xbox like I do, this share function still does work, so that's really nice. You also have this volume rocker here, a quick mute functionality for your microphone as well. This volume rocker, this will control the in-game music and sound and whatnot. And then you also have some redesigned paddles on the back. So these paddles are very similar to the Fusion Pro from the PlayStation 4 that was available in Europe and some other regions, but it was not available in the US. One quick thing, I do want to ask PowerA to release a PlayStation 5 version of this controller in the US. Like, that would be absolutely fantastic. Like, we for sure need that. And I don't know why this controller never made it to the US, but it's kind of late now because the PS4 is done. But I digress. Getting back to the Xbox, I just really hope that they can drop a PS5 controller, because that's what I'm on most of the time when I play console. But getting back to playing Xbox, this controller is a little bit nicer in feeling in the hand, because this rubberized grip on the back does feel a little bit different than the other rubberized texture they had on this one. Like, this texture, at least after a couple of years, and really not a ton of use, but I have used it quite a bit, but it does feel a little bit more grippy in a sense, but not necessarily in a good way. It just feels like kind of like a wet-ish piece of rubber, where this one is a little bit drier and it's still pretty grippy, but it is slightly more slippery. But I do find it, for whatever reason, to be more comfortable. I don't know why. Like, this is like a dry rubber and this is like a wet rubber. It's kind of strange, but I don't know. Anyways, going back to the Fusion Pro, the paddle design is a little bit different. I do enjoy this quite a bit. Typically, I don't use these top two pedals, and they're really easy to remove, but I move the bottom two pedals to the top two spots. So this is usually how I like to use my controller if I can get. this paddle in there. I usually like to use it like this because I find that it's pretty easy to hit these two paddles with my middle fingers. So that's just my preference of how I like to use this Fusion Pro, and maybe you should try it out for yourself and see what you think. But I do like the bottom longer paddles in the top spots, and then I don't even do anything with these bottom two buttons because they're just a little bit too low for me, and I don't really find that I need more than two paddles to be a happy gamer. You have your program button right here to program these paddles. All you do is hold the program button, hold the paddle you want to use, and then you tap whatever face button or trigger or bumper or whatever that you want to map the paddle to, and then you're pretty much good to go. The microphone port on both of them is in the exact same spots, and then they both also come with tri-level adjustable triggers. So you have like this first level T3, where basically you have an entire full motion trigger press. And then you have T2, which is like a half press, and the actuation is a little bit sooner. And then you have T1, which is basically a hair trigger, and it doesn't move as much. And you also feel a lot sooner actuation. So this would be really good for first-person shooters. If you're playing something like a driving game, I would definitely use it on the T3 solution because you're gonna need your entire trigger press. Otherwise, if you're playing a driving game, your car is gonna feel really weird. So I highly recommend swapping these depending on the type of game that you're playing. Now the bumpers on both of them are pretty similar. I will say though that the bumpers on this one are just a little bit less tactile than they are on the older version, but that could just be the fact that I've used this one a little bit more. But I don't know, the bumpers, it's not really that big of a deal. I wouldn't go as far as to say that they feel mushy, but they just feel slightly less tactile. As far as the triggers go though, I do like the fact that instead of having this entirely smooth, let me focus real quick, but instead of having this entirely smooth portion of the trigger, you do have this little bit of added grip on the trigger as well. So I do like that quite a bit. It does make it a little bit easier to grab the trigger and not slip. It's kind of a nitpick because I never found that I slipped off the triggers using the older ones, so I don't really think that that's a huge deal by having this little bit of added grip, but I do like it, so I'm not gonna complain. Now of course this controller comes with the carrying case as always, and you have this little portion on the back to cover the removable back piece, which comes off pretty easily. You just press this little button and the back piece pops out, and then you can hide this these pins with this little cover here, so you can use that if you would like, but not really the end of the world. I hardly ever take the back cover off, but if you don't like the paddles on the back, you can decide to use that little cover. You also have a couple of additional thumbsticks inside of the carrying case as well. So these are just two short thumbsticks. Right now, the thumbsticks that I have on there are the long concave on the right stick and the long domed on the left stick. I like to use the dome thumbstick on the left spot because I don't really need anything else for movements, but I do prefer to use the concave stick on the right stick where I aim, and the taller stick does help with range of motion and helping you to get a little bit better aim. Trust me, after you swap to using a longer thumbstick on your right stick, you 110% won't go back once you get used to it. And you'll notice that when you use shorter thumbsticks, your aim is a bit worse. So this will help you play a little bit more consistent. Definitely use the longer thumbsticks. And again, this carrying case is pretty nice quality as well. It's a hard case with a little bit of flex in it, but this will definitely protect your controller if you like to throw it around the room. And then you got a nice zipper on there as well with that little bronze accent. But yeah, I really do like the case. Now there is another thing that you get inside the carrying case as well. You do have swappable front plates on the Fusion Pro 2. On the Fusion Pro 1, you could also take off the front plate to obviously, swap your thumbsticks without a ton of work, but this one is a little bit different where you get this little rubberized grip that does match the rubberized grip on the back, and it's pretty good. But I will say that the rubber, especially after a month and a half of use, does start to wear just a little bit and it becomes kind of slippery. So this rubber grip, it's okay, but in my opinion, it's just a little bit too slippery for me to use on the daily. So I do prefer to use the white cover for the Fusion Pro 2 because I just prefer the look of the white, the feel of the white. I get a little bit more grip, and I also like these green anti-friction rings that they have on here. On the black one, obviously you got these black anti-friction rings, and then on the older one you have these copper anti-friction rings. But on the older one, again, you can take off the faceplate, but they don't give you an extra one inside of the carrying case. So You just take it off to replace the thumbsticks. Both of these do use Alps thumbsticks and I have no issues with them. They're extremely smooth glide on both the older version as well as the newer version. Like, these are some of my favorite thumbsticks to date on any Xbox controller, and I also find that they are smoother than like a stock or even a custom Xbox controller. So the stock controllers and the custom controllers, they're decent. I will give them like a 7 out of 10. These PowerA thumbsticks, in terms of smoothness and accuracy, I will give them a 10 out of 10. These are some of my favorite again. Now, when it comes to which controller you should buy, the Fusion Pro is $58 or $60 roundabout. Currently it's on sale for 58 bucks on Amazon. And then the Fusion Pro 2 MSRP is $90, but I have seen this controller go on sale for as low as 80 bucks, so you are able to save a little bit of money. So basically you're talking about a $20 to $30 difference to go from the older version of the controller to the newer version of the controller. And do I think it's worth it? Personally, I really do like the fact that I have the quick mute and the volume rocker as a tactile button and rocker. So that's really nice because I don't have to dig through the Xbox settings or unplug my mic. The share button, I don't really use it that much, but it is a pretty nice change. So it's nice that obviously they're matching the modern features of the other Xbox controllers. USB Type-C is nice. It doesn't matter which way you plug it in. You can't mess up your USB ports. So that's cool. And then the bigger paddles on the back, I do prefer to use those myself, so I don't think it's a bad idea to go with the larger paddles. But if you really want to save money or you just want to stick around a $60 price point, then you can't go wrong with the original version of the Fusion Pro. This controller is really good. If you guys want to see my original review that was a little bit shorter than this one, I'll leave a link in the description below. But this controller is really good, and even 2 years later, I still think very highly of it, so I wouldn't really recommend any other controller in the $60 price range unless you just want like a regular Microsoft stock controller, because this controller is just so good. But if you want to live life on the lavish side and splurge just a little bit, get the Fusion Pro 2 wired. It is not a bad idea. I do hate that both these controllers are wired though. I wish that they were wireless. I don't mind that they're wired because I play so close to like my devices anyways, like my Xbox or my computer or whatever, but it would just be nice to have one less wire connecting you. But we already know that Microsoft has like a bunch of licenses and stuff for wireless Xbox controllers, and that's why they haven't been making them. But if PowerA could somehow convince Microsoft to do it, that would be extremely nice. And again, like the value proposition, I mean, the fact that a $60 and a $90 controller can punch really hard and way above their weight class in terms of price up against custom controllers for a very reasonable price, to have a ton of features and in some cases more features than some Xbox custom controllers. I mean, man, this is absolutely insane. I mean, you're looking at a $200 controller here. Like, this is the Hex Blade. Obviously, you know, get custom design and aesthetics and whatnot. The grip on this one obviously is a little bit better, but one thing that I wish PowerA would change and adopt is some paddle or button design like this, just because I feel like this would be a bit more durable than something like this. And one thing that I have noticed that hasn't happened on this one, because I don't main controller anymore. Like, I have probably a few hundred hours on this controller over the past couple of years, and then I have probably about 60 hours on this controller. But these little things that are holding in the paddles over time and repeated use start to erode. And basically, since they're made of plastic, that's why it happens. So I would like to see them swap this to maybe metal or aluminum or something, and that would hopefully help out with the durability a lot. And if they could keep the price range at $90 or less, that would be fantastic. But I feel like the easier fix is to use some buttons that are just out a little bit more than they are on some of the other PowerA Spectra and the cheaper controllers. I can't remember the name of them, but I know the Spectra RGB is one of them for 50 bucks. This kind of button design I do think would be a lot better in terms of like long-term durability, but I do enjoy the functionality and the feel of these paddles and like how easy they are to press. Like, you can almost accidentally press them, but I don't know, it's just really light. I really just want to see them update this to be metal, so that would make it more durable. But again, PowerA does give you a 2-year warranty, so I'm pretty sure that like if that broke, you probably would be covered with next to no hassle. So that's just my opinion. And yeah, hopefully PowerA doesn't prove my opinion to be wrong. Hopefully PowerA hooks you guys up. If something like this happens and your paddles start to fall out, they should just replace it. In my opinion, that would be the right thing to do until they swap the material and make it metal so that it doesn't happen anymore. But anyways, I would still recommend both of these controllers because I do think that for the prices is they are extremely good. But that was pretty much all I had for you guys. I hope that this discussion made your decision a lot easier to see if you need to buy a Fusion Pro 2 or if you can save a little bit of money, like 20 or 30 bucks, and buy the original version of the Fusion Pro and still get a very good controller that has a lot of pro features for only 60 bucks, or spend a little bit more, live life on the lavish side a little bit, and get the $90 controller. And either way, you got 2-year warranties on both. So I haven't really had any issues with the Fusion Pro in the past. Again, I'm not a main or primary console gamer anymore, so that's probably why I haven't run into like stick drift and stuff like that. But with that 2-year warranty, I'm pretty sure that PowerA would cover you for something like that and probably just replace your controller. That's what I would hope would happen. If Microsoft can replace a $200 controller for stick drift, then PowerA should be able to do it for a $60 or a $90 controller with stick drift. So thank you guys again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. And I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, as well as follow me on Twitch, where I stream games occasionally, as well as like other stuff like keyboard builds and all types of stuff. You're gonna love it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you again for watching Too Much Tech. Thank you again for watching Too Much Tech, and to the sponsor of today's video, Best Buy. Be sure to check out the GeoBook 120 at the first link in the description below.